Hello, lovelies. How many of you have had posts not shown, had your accounts shut off for basically no reason? One of my shadow banned posts was about seed oils and why I don't eat them. Jim Gale, his food forest abundance, about gardening. Why did his account get banned? These are the types of things that Parler has been working since 2021 when Amazon, Google, and Apple all ganged up on them and wiped them out. Parler has been working to make sure that that never happens to any average person ever again. To make sure stupid censorship does not happen on their platform. Let's get into it. Here is Greg Anderson from Parler.
I can put up my Clark Kent glasses and we'll see this
Her,
actually.
I love it. Go into character with me. Appreciate
That's
you.
right. That's right.
Thank you again for taking this time. What is your position, Greg, at Parler?
Yeah, I'm the senior VP of innovations, and our parent company is Sovereign. Parler is one of our brands. So in reality, I get to create the future of what all of our technology and social media is. So what I create now, our developers build in like 6 months.
That's cool. That's a lot of power. And it's really cool to see the fruits of your labor and all of your team's labor come
It
into fruition so fast.
It is. It's also a lot of stress because you're telling people, trust me, I know what I'm doing. And sometimes you're doing the very best you can based on the information you have. And you watch the world, ups and downs of going on. And you're like, oh, this is where we need to be at this time. So there's also a little bit of stress going, hey, just trust me. And then in the middle of builds and you have all of these developers going, what's this and what's that? And you're just like, just trust me. Internally, you're like, oh man, I hope they can trust me. But
I need to trust myself.
exactly. But that's how we get so much done and how we've been able to redesign how that whole Parler and Sovereign ecosystem works to be something that's world class today and then also in the future.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
were you with Sovereign or were you with Parler? Tell me your history.
Yeah, they came into my world about 2 years ago. I founded a company out of Utah that was a social media or a private labeled social media company. Basically, what that means is brands would come to me, musicians, podcasters, companies, and say, I don't really want our conversations on Facebook or Instagram, and we charge to have access. So I built a tool that would spin up, white label. I would put their brands on it, iOS, Android, and websites that felt like a social media mixed with like a learning management tool. So you could have courses and whatnot,
Okay.
and then wrap that behind paywalls so that you could charge your own clients and then you could speak inside your own databases and your own world without worrying about somebody else listening to what you have to say, just like you might on major social medias. And I'd taken it myself as far as I could grow and was looking for partners. And this is when it was then Parler. And since then it's upgraded its name and there's bought a bunch of other companies. And so that's our umbrella, which is Soccer. I went to him and was like, with the tools you have and the tools and the knowledge we have, because all we've done is help content creators and brands have privacy and earn money, which is the second part of Sovereign, right?
Yeah.
And let's partner. And it took us about a year. And eventually we rolled Jadari up into that Parler ecosystem, the Sovereign ecosystem. And I took everything that we had learned over the last 15 years about high volume sales, like selling, many thousands of customers products on a daily basis with large numbers, and said, what if we could do that and wrap it into a free social media network? So people didn't have to pay to have access. And because we had really our expertise is this, I can create tools to help people monetize or make more money that they don't even know that they need. We just build them into the tools. And so that was kind of the evolution into here. I originally came over as the chief revenue officer, built a whole bunch of revenue channels and was like, man, our technology needs to catch up. So I moved into innovations and worked with the developers and then our CEO as well, to just figure out what is it that we need for our new reality and where do we need to be, because we do not know who the next president's going to be. We don't know what the next set of regulations in 4 years. So we're just on a tear building things that we feel can be taken away because we own them. And then it's a nice environment right now, but what if it's not in a couple of years? Or what if it's not in 10? So we're really setting those foundations.
Well, awesome, because that was that's one of my later questions that we will get to deeper into that.
Love it. Love it.
So most people watch their accounts get censored or wiped off platforms. Like I was wiped off of Facebook in 2021.
Yep.
Walk us through what the sovereign infrastructure means.
Got it. Yeah, that's a great question, because Parler as an application, you as somebody got, censored and turned off. Parler with, I think at that point, like 20 million users got shut off in a single day. And it was rolled around right around, the end of the term of President Trump, the first term. There's, depending on who you listen to, there's two sides to this story. There's probably a third. But at the end of the day, President Trump had been censored across all platforms. And Parler was one of the fastest growing in the world. And they said, no, we're not going to turn this off. Parler to parlay just means two people having a conversation. And at the same time, we had all the weirdness around what now is kind of the J6 hoax. Like, we don't really know. Did somebody do something? Did somebody not? People went to jail for a long time. Then they let them out. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is, between the United States government, or people in the United States government, Amazon, Google, and Apple ganged up on Parler and deleted their servers. So in one day, they censored all of their creators, like 20 million people just gone. And they blamed it on, whatever varying degree things that maybe were true and don't seem to be true now. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, our CEO, Yasser, he was in cloud infrastructure for 20 years. He was working with President Trump. They were trying to decide if they were going to do Truth Social, working in that atmosphere. And a lot of things just didn't align. And so Yasser and a few others decided that, we own cloud infrastructure, which is what we're getting to, the piece of how data transfers around the world in sub-second. What if we took all of our knowledge and we turned it into a media company, which we would call social media? So what it means now today, as they came in, bought it, reopened it, is everything from the physical boxes where servers reside in data centers, those belong to us. There's only a couple companies in the world that own their own boxes at scale, and other people like X, who have some servers and the rest they lease from Jeff Bezos, so Amazon. And we knew that would be a problem. So we started buying companies. So we own the boxes, the operating system that those boxes sit on. So we don't use Microsoft Azure. We don't use Linux. We use an open source product that we then designed. Then we give all of our designs out for free. People want to follow.
Okay.
That's all great.
And where can they get those designs?
So in the open source world, they can either, look up our technology, look up what we put out in the world, or go to OpenOS, and be able to pull pieces of those repositories. When you're talking about software, a repository is like a big bucket of code. And sometimes it's millions of lines of code. We have about 1,600 of them. So I would probably point you to the wrong place, but the OpenOS architecture.
Yep. And those developers probably know where to find that.
Yes, it would be easy to just look them up into the GitHub repositories under Sovereign and Parler.
Okay.
Triton, OS. There's just a bunch of companies that belong into this whole piece.
Okay.
So the operating system, so we can't be, told or shut.
Yes.
And then one of the most important things when you're talking about data, we're on a call right now. And where you're sitting, you have a video streaming up to a server. Where I'm sitting, we have a video streaming up to the server. And then somehow those are connected. And if we wanted them to, they could be around the world in a sub-second. And so this is called a content delivery network, or a CDN.
Okay.
We bought ours. Originally, it was part of Verizon. Verizon sells it to another company. That company went bankrupt and we swooped in and bought the software. So now we go, okay, great. We have the hardware, we have the operating system, and now we have the content delivery network so that I can, or a content creator can grab their phone, live stream, hit Asia sub-second, all on our software. And then the final is our applications and then the deliverability. That's like the distribution. That's people that are watching their phones and watching their content. So from everything from distribution to the human's eye that's watching, playing in their social accounts, all the way down to physical, like metal. Those are softwares or tools that we've either acquired or we created. And the purpose was that so that we didn't kind of have a big chink in the armor about what, or in the event, that somebody comes in and says, you need to shut down. We all hope that will never be our environment again, right?
Yes, we hope. But like Jim Gale just got his account shadow banned or something for talking about gardening.
That's funny.
Food forest abundance. Like why is that being banned?
I don't know.
Just the weirdest
It's
things.
interesting.
Yes, it's all right. So this really brings up, what does free speech mean to Parler and Sovereign, or what does free
Sure.
speech mean on Parler?
Yeah, it's such an interesting conversation because it can mean a lot of things, right? We have very direct terms and conditions in our platform. No child endangerment of any kind.
Right.
I don't care if you claim that to be free. You won't talk about that. You won't hurt kids on that platform. So in that scenario, somebody could say, well, you're not for free speech, but I'm also for morals and protection, right?
Yeah.
So it's such an interesting topic. We don't allow any child pornography. We don't allow any enslavement. We don't allow any snuff videos. Like, remember, unfortunately, when Charlie Kirk was murdered and it hit X and then it hit everywhere. And no matter what you open, you're just watching this gunshot over and over and over, even if you didn't want to. That's something that we won't allow on the platform. If you want that, there's platforms like X, which are beautiful. Go there.
You can curate your feed to probably see more of that too.
And we won't put any kind of killings on our platform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah,
We don't need to keep seeing that. Okay. I
We
appreciate that.
don't.
Yes.
We don't.
Yeah.
It's the things like the brutal rapes and the stabbings and the things that are happening. There are news channels for that. So when we come to us, we're looking for a place. When I say like clean media, that's very open to suggestion. What does that really mean? But we're trying to build a place where everybody in the middle, not the far right, not the far left, not that these guys or those guys, but all of the people that want a place in the middle to conversate, share, reels and content, sell their products, earn money, do all the things can without the crazy polarity. This goes all the way down to like algorithms. The reason an algorithm was built is, imagine if you had 1 million people on a piece of software and they all posted one thing on the same day. How do you share that content? You could have 1 million different messages, and how would that ever sort to what I like? So when we designed ours, we took a look at what everybody else does when they curate content.
Mhm.
And most of the world deals with something that's just called a bubble. It means that when you like something, I will reinforce your position.
Yeah.
I'm going to build a bubble around you. And if you want to talk about flat Earth, I will tell you every reason why flat Earth is right. If you want to talk about how flat Earth isn't correct, then that bubble would give you every reason around that.
Yeah.
And then there's some that create opposition. And the algorithm's job is to create polarity and get people to fight,
Yeah.
because that creates more users.
Yep.
So when we did this and we started designing how content and how the recommendation engine is what we would call it is given, we stripped all popularity. That means it doesn't matter if it comes from a president, a super celeb, or somebody with a no name. If it's a good piece of content that people like, it ranks higher. There's no personality into it. We stripped out the thing that said, if we play these types of videos, we'll make more money. our algorithm doesn't actually allow us to talk about. We created locks around that. And it just says, nope, sorry, I'm not going to do this. It's so that we can get down to what we just call a human unit. Like you and I are humans and we're sharing content. Is that content valuable to others? Then we will do that. And if somebody wants to come on and they want to like just throw a fit, scream and rage and nobody likes it, we won't shadow ban them at all. It just means that we're not going to put them in a discovery feed because nobody wants to have that conversation.
Yeah. And if they follow them, then they've already put that in their feed to see that and be part of that conversation.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's a freedom of speech answer, which isn't as straightforward as some people would like.
It is a gray area. But like you said, it's like the golden rule. As long as nobody is being harmed in the content, and that's just kind of how we should all be living life, really, is do no harm to others. So, or do unto others as you want done. So
don't break laws, don't hurt people, and we're good. At least as good as we can possibly be. We still have to make hard decisions on a lot of things. It's not an easy, like black and white type of scenario.
Yeah.
And there's, people can argue on both sides and that's fantastic. We just wanted a place where we could go, where we didn't worry about who was owning it, changing their mind in 6 months. Like what you're watching with some of the other platforms where you were totally crushed 2 years ago. And now they're open. They're like, yeah, come spend money with us because the administration changed.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We want a place where our kids can go and our grandkids in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or however that long and be able to operate in countries where, again, we don't want, this is a harder conversation and all, because once you start talking about other jurisdictions and other countries, you have to have people on the ground in their help.
Yeah.
But we don't want to see governments being toppled because of social media. Unless it's a dictator, let's get out the truth. Let's try to do as much of that as we can.
Yeah. Not for that, but when it is actually the people being suppressed and stuff like that.
Yeah. We don't want to see governments being able to tell us what to do. It was in 2012, and this is all public knowledge, the first time that Facebook interacted with the PsyOps, where they're like, can we sway what people believe around a topic by showing different content? And they did that. And I don't know what they've done since then. All I know is they have a wickedly cool, depending on what you believe is cool, set of scientists in Paris that their whole job is to just figure out the neurons of the brain, right? That might be good or not, it might be bad. We just don't want to play it.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm visualizing, it was some movie about the algorithms.
Social networking. Yeah.
Yeah. Social network where they're like, that got the control room. They're like, okay, send in their ex-boyfriend or, something like that. Like,
yes.
Trigger them.
Exactly.
An emotional reaction.
Exactly. And the more and more people put AI first, the more and more that's going to happen as well.
Yeah. You're just really reminding me of Thomas Friedman's book, That Used to Be Us, where he talks about most Americans are middle of the road. We just, want to live our best lives. Just leave us alone. But with 24/7 media, they've had to be on super extremes for the clicks. So it has made it seem, and especially to the rest of the world, like we are crazy. Like,
right.
Like we cannot be neighbors. It is like chaos here. So I love that you're just trying to bring back like that small town feel online with the broad reach.
Yeah. And giving people that want to transact together a place to do it. Again, one of those freedoms or one of the sovereign components is about wealth and income, how I make money, how I can, all of these types of things. So we just tried to wrap as many of them in as possible. That was, I'd say, legitimate for our type of business, physical shopping, live stream shopping, selling digital courses on platform. Because why wouldn't you? If you spent all your time building a social profile, you have all these followers, and then you go, okay, by the way, in order to transact with me, you got to click this link. And that's going to take you over there. And then that's going to take you there. And then you're to the shopping cart. Why don't we just do it as one interface?
And a huge thing is then they forget, like, okay, what's the website? Where do I go to log in? And yeah.
Right. Right. All things in one place. And it's not trying to be a super app where we do everything. When it comes to how people transact and communicate and share, we do want it to be easy, and not everybody has to use. Like if somebody wants to sell their physical products, not inside our shops, good for you. Go do it. If you want to integrate it on your wall, so when they come to you and you see like the products that you sell under shops and they know it's yours because they like you, then why wouldn't they want to buy? So it was that kind of thought.
Okay. I love that you said a place for people to commerce. It's like the concept of an agora back in ancient Greece, where the center of the town would just come together, and it's what's protected in Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, is our unlimited right to commerce and contract. So
Yeah.
thank you. That has been a big problem, especially on Facebook, with people that had their businesses on there and they got wiped out. So
Yeah. For who knows, who knows why. One thing that, and since we're just hitting that topic, and I might be jumping ahead, but one of the things that we're really trying to do is giving information on why. As an example, we have an ads platform. You can, just like you would on Meta ads, you can log in and you can say, hey, I have this product I want to sell and help me target those users. That's great. There's a lot of monetary reasons that we built this in for you and I and for the company. But one of the biggest problems that people that want to transact have is either whether you're on Meta or you're on Google, when your ad is declined, they don't tell you why. So it takes like a rocket scientist to figure out how that's going to actually work. So we decided early on that if something ever doesn't fit our terms, we're just going to tell you. And why would we want you to spend hours and hours and hours finding these things?
And the money, the experimenting of like, okay, maybe I'll try this. And then you got months of experimenting down the road, and yeah, your system has gone to crap. So
Actually,
well,
just be transparent. We'll be good.
Amen. Amen to transparency. So tell us, Greg, what is the roadmap for Parler?
Well, based on where we sit today, right, as we record this, our roadmap is that we've spent the last 2 years designing, we could call it a commerce, social platform.
Yeah.
We've redesigned all the tools to fit under our umbrella. We've built pretty much everything from scratch so that we can do some really special things. One of the things I'll tell you I'm most excited about right now is when you're talking to any company in the world, it doesn't matter if you're a podcast or if you sell widgets or Beanie Babies or you're a software company. The thing that tends to be the hardest is attracting new users. How do you get new people in? And when you're a software company like us, traditionally what happens is you try to put millions and millions of dollars together and you go to Meta and you go to Google and you buy ads.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is funding big tech to be bigger to try to compete with big tech. Doesn't really make sense. So there's a tool that we re-engineered while we were building our ads network that we just called our Invite and Earn program. And it basically means that we turned every user, anybody that wants to use the platform, into, you could call it a paid affiliate if they choose. Not everybody's paid. Not everybody's going to qualify. We need to KYC people. We need to know you're not a terrorist trying to launder money.
Yep.
Right? That's fair.
Yep.
But what happens is now somebody comes on, they click the little button, they join. And then let's say I sent you a piece of content. I said, hey, come follow me over here. When you click the link and you register, now Parler, the sovereign data centers, know that I'm the one that sent you. And so as you watch ads and you consume throughout any of our applications, I earn a percentage of that revenue. So we said, instead of paying Meta, why don't we pay everybody? Right? Well, why don't we, instead of spending $1 billion trying to grow, why don't we pay $1 billion? And let's pay that in residual income because you helped us build the platform. And every tool that we have is built like that. And it's built, if you help us, we help you. We're just going to rev share those pieces out. All the terms and conditions and the things apply, right? Again, the things we talked about, when you make sure people are real, they're not bots, they're legal, they're of age, all the things like that kind of apply. But outside of that, one of our key ethos as we were creating this was this commerce, this place for everybody in the middle, and then said, well, if the company makes money, how do we make sure they do? Because we don't charge for our platform, it can't be something. It would have been really hard to try to create revenue if there wasn't revenue and there wasn't charge for that.
You're not
And in the
Jesus throwing
United
water
States, there's
into
all these
wine.
rules. Yeah. There's all kinds of rules around charging people to have access, and then you turn them into an affiliate. It follows under all kinds of laws.
FTC, yeah.
FTC, business opportunity. And instead, we just said, let's give everything for free. Let's do an ads network because we weren't quite sure if we were going to. That's kind of known. Let's allow people to transact. And if you're selling, products on shops and you want to reach more people, why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
And let's share that revenue out. So the content creator, the person that creates the videos, that gets the views, they earn just like everybody else or the other platforms. We just pay a little bit higher. And then growth. Bring us ad networks, you make a percentage of revenue. Bring us users, you make a percentage of revenue. So it's kind of our whole design is how do we feed millions and millions of families, but not by giving money away, because that technically doesn't ever work, but by creating opportunity.
I love it. Like a stream for them to fish in.
100%. We'll give you the nets, but if you just want to sell in the bank, that's cool too. But if you want to get a little dirty, then that's great.
I love
A little
it.
wet.
All right. So what does success look like to Parler in the next 12 months?
Great. We have a pending IPO, so we're going public. Finishing that out. It's been about a 2-year trail. I have to be really careful with my language because of FTC and all the things. So this is not financial advice, whatever the thing is. I'm not that guy, but all of the disclosures.
Can you tell us the ticker it's going to be? No? Okay.
No, and the only reason is there's a chance that we might pull some magic out of our hat in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
And that would update.
Yep.
And then that would be like world news.
Okay.
So yeah, being able to get there, one of the reasons why we'd love to stay as a private company, but you can imagine every time we grow a data center, every time we put on another, 10,000 or not 10,000, but 100,000, 1 million users, that requires more servers and data centers around the world. So this gets to be an expensive game of growth. So we traditionally grew all of these things, homegrown, personal investments, years of like, hey, I'm not going to get paid. I'm going to grow these types of things. In all kinds of different companies that then have rolled up into this, because we all said, look, if our mission is here and I have X and you have B, let's combine and then let's grow. So that is pretty strong for us. The IPO game allows us to grow and start to compete in the bigger spaces. So I would probably say, fresh 100 million users would be fantastic. If I'm going to throw out my best manifestation, a wish list, solid IPO. And then kind of where this looks is we're the only two other companies, you asked the question about infrastructure. The only two other companies that act like a media company that we know of that own their own, we just call them their rails, their technology, their stack, is Google and Facebook. And we run on light software and physical solutions, although again, that they're ours. And so, although I can't say that we're a competitor of either one of them, they're multi-trillion-dollar companies and they're awesome. And I don't know that I want to compete, right? I just want to create a place for the people in the center. Although we do have the same kind of power when it comes to making course correction decisions and making decisions that are what we feel is in our best interest, what we feel is in our users' best interest. So yeah, IPO done, growth, another 100 million users, and starting to make a little bit more dent and impact. And the thing, like you and I connected really well when we talked on the phone, because even though we don't know each other, we have a lot of common backgrounds and belief systems. And there are so many of us that just are like, I'm sick and tired of these things that are going on in the world. I don't even watch news. I don't want to be on social media because it's trash. So what if we found a place where we actually could, create a lounge and and have all of your business friends and have all your conversations and things that are in there. Because that lounge tool works a little bit like X, a little bit like Discord, because we took the best of all worlds, started marrying them together, make them private, those types of things. So yeah, we really see usage.
Right. I love that. 100 million users in 12 months. Yes. All right. For someone who has never been on Parler, what do you recommend that they do today? One thing
Cool.
that they could do today.
Create an account. Download the Parler app. Go to parler.com, PARLER.com. Open an account on that main website. So the Parler website actually tells a lot of the story, a lot of the things that you can, and the roadmap of things that are coming, to just see if you align. There are people that won't, and that's great. There are people, we look at us as being an and, not an or. So if you're posting on YouTube, great. And you want to post on one of our applications, either Parler, Play, it's fantastic. It's just another revenue source, right? Just ands. So create an account, play in it, communicate, chat with somebody, invite somebody into the platform. Straightforward, just get involved.
All right. I will post my invite link to this video.
I love that. Yeah, everybody that's watching should join off your link. Do you know how much time and energy it takes for you to cultivate this content? And all they have to do is click and then, go hang out inside of Parler or Play. And something to know that's cool is when somebody registers if they register on one of our other applications, then it's still linked to you.
That's awesome.
You're the one that did all the work. So why wouldn't you benefit from it?
I love that. Like, really, really just a champion for the little guys,
Well, there's a lot of little guys. I remember that. What was the show? Ants, Bugs.
Oh, yes.
It was the thing with the
Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life.
Yes.
Yes.
Or it's like, you can't let them stand up to you or something. Otherwise, they'll
You
all.
can't. Yes. Exactly. There's millions and millions of it. And that scenario is the ants and the grasshoppers, right? Just way more of us. Let's just give us a place to congregate. Just allow us to be,
Come on, ants. Let's be ants together.
Exactly.
All right. Well, here's a tough one. All right. I know that you're not in the legal department, but maybe you can have some sway for a win for the little guys. Every other huge corporation has a mandatory arbitration clause in their user agreement. Arbitration takes out our constitutional rights, our right to discovery, our right to a jury, our right to appeal. If you have any sway with your legal department, and maybe you get that taken out of and be the only large company that does not have a mandatory arbitration agreement.
Yeah. You're not speaking my language right now. I don't know. I'll ask the question because, I do have the conversation with those that do create those things.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Like, what's the protectionary measure that a company is trying to protect themselves from when they take those rights?
Well, as somebody who had my credit destroyed and is now suing all three major credit agencies in federal court, when they can push it for a mandatory arbitration clause, it saves them a lot of money. Like I said, you don't get discovery, so I cannot get all the information that I need from them. I don't have a right to a jury trial. It is done by people that basically are paid in their network, and then it's a final deadline. It's a for-profit court, basically, made up by these big corporations. So they can say, nope, you can't go to this court. Our contract said that the jurisdiction is into arbitration, which basically all the big corporations run the arbitrators. So.
You know what's funny about that conversation or this conversation? I have been a part of, I couldn't even tell you how many contracts. A lot, right? Lots of companies, lots of things. And I've never even questioned, why is there an arbitration law in there? I just knew that there was. My attorney said I have to have it, and you just have it. So I've never really questioned why to that one, which is a cool thing.
Well, I am glad that I could be the one to bring that question to you. And you're not the only one. That's why we have this whole credit system. Credit is against our privacy. But in the, the right to report to these third-party for-profit companies, we sign our rights away, our
Mm.
right to privacy away. And that is why the whole credit system is built on us signing our right to privacy away. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Interesting.
right?
Okay.
Uh,
Thanks for educating me today.
my pleasure. Join my lounge on Parler, legal
There you go.
challenges, and learn these things.
100%. It's so interesting. I have a thought for you. Okay.
Yes.
You've seen The Matrix. Yes. Most viewers are going to see The Matrix.
Yeah.
And there's that part where Morpheus says, red or blue pill. And all of us, when we're watching it, we're like, I think it's the red pill. It wakes you up, right?
Yeah.
So the way that my mind operates in that scenario is, why is there only two choices? Who told me that I could only take one of those two? Whoever did is controlling my outcome no matter what, because they told me there was only two options.
Exactly. I love that. And that's the same thing with this jurisdiction. That's what I've been learning, is that there's another option that we've never been told about, which is on the private side. So, yeah.
Absolutely fits right in there.
Yes.
What if the purple pill was even better?
Exactly. The screw
Or
both
not.
sides. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Well, great. Thank you. That is the last of my questions. I super appreciate your time and that you are helping to build a safe place for us to congregate online and talk about the same things that we talk about offline. What we can talk about in person at the local park, I want to be able to talk about online too. Like, I don't eat seed oils. They are really bad for you. I don't know why I got banned for posting that.
Great questions. And I'm right there with you.
And yes, and that was why I am excited to build up my network on Parler.
Do you know what you could help us do? You and everybody else that's watching this. If you go on Parler today, this moment, when we relaunched the platform, it was a lot of the people that were on the platform in the beginning. We didn't want the name to go away. What we're looking forward to is the conversations expanding past politic, expanding past the belief system, expanding past whatever to, grandma sharing her kids, recital. And it only takes a few hundred people to sway a platform that are putting out just good quality content and then helping us grow. That would have been one of the 12-month type of things, because I would love to see all of the content expand way past what somebody believes when they think Parler, is they think freedom of speech, right wing, something. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with anybody in the middle and on the blue team either,
Yeah. Or seeing a bunch of dog pictures, which you will see some me on there.
Yes. Share the dogs. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you again, Greg. If there's any last things that you want to add.
No, I think we've done a pretty good job of painting the picture of the why and the how and what we're trying to do.
Yes, what we are going to do.
What we are going to do. Thank you for my language correction. I needed that.
Anytime. All right. Well, like I said, I look forward to seeing you on Parler. Thank you again for your time.
Absolutely.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Greg.